Well, he was a racist. Well, if he was a racist, why did Jesse Jackson thank him for helping him run for president and helping the Rainbow Coalition and help him get black people jobs for the last 30 years? Why did he help the Russell Simmons get financing to do Def Jam records?
Russell Simmons.
I wish there would have been no Jay-Z. He helped Don King. I've seen him help black people, like the black guy that fixed his tire, didn't know he was in the car. He paid the man's whole mortgage off. He didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Really thank you for signing me. When y'all passed this, I could have fell through the floor. I'm an example of a woman who has been given a second chance in life.
And it's an experience that I never forget.
2 months ago, I was in a prison cell, and I'm in the White House. That's continue to make America great again.
Now,
that to a large extent Mike Tyson was railroaded in this case. You have a young woman that was in his room, his hotel room, late in the evening at her own will. You have a young woman who was seen dancing for the beauty contest, dancing with a big smile on her face, looked happy as could be.
Donald Trump had Mike Tyson back, and the last time I checked, Mike Tyson was hella black.
Do you see that as racist?
You never heard anything about Donald Trump being racist until he ran for president and won.
And the only color he sees is green, and he wants you to have some of it.
What's the deal? See who I'm sitting next to? Donald Trump. Smell the money. You know who you with. It's Tony Yayo up in this. Donald Trump, just say something.
I'm here, folks. I'm here.
Whoa. Smell the money.
Great group of people.
Smell the money.
Yeah, G Unit Radio. G Unit Radio. Who kid? Christ.
Hey, Yayo, you owe Who Kid some money.
That Trump.
You owe Who Kid a lot of money.
I'm here with Donald Trump. I never thought I'd be next to this guy, man.
Let him talk. Let him speak.
We got Donald Trump here.
I hear you on there with you sitting there.
Yeah, I told him you were on his heels.
How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm fine.
Well, you know, I have some kids, and myself included, but I have kids, they think you are the best, the absolute best. Wow. That's pretty cool, I'll tell you. My little daughter Ivanka and my son Eric, these people, they just love your music. Wow.
Oh, man, I'm going to keep making it.
Well, you're going to keep making it. You better keep making it. I'm going to have some angry children if you don't keep making it.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you. Congratulations on the great success, man. That's amazing.
Man.
The new Donald Trump is Bill Gates, not because his occupation, it's cause we respect his cake.
Bring your ass over the hump. We trying to get money so we can be living like Trump. You can talk, real estate, stocks and bonds. I buy cars with straight cash, have meetings with Donald Trump.
All of mine stayed like Donald Trump. 27 cars and a 12-bedroom house. Now they call me Snoopy Trump.
Yes, Donald Trump, them are require you.
Absurd money, Bobby Bird money. That Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Bloomberg money.
Boys in the hood call me Black Donald Trump. Direction of the real, trying to get richer than Trump.
I still does it, breathing off a Trump budget. Fire motherfucker, Donald Trump. Give me fame and fortune, me and Trump on golf courses. First of the month, Trump to the buyers. Red toupee on the coupe, you been fired.
Over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump shit. Look at all this money, ain't that some shit?
Trying to get it till I'm on my Donald Trump. Looking rap, I ain't trying to stunt. I'ma fire my blunt like Donald Trump.
Got to look and tell Donald Trump. I know Donald Trump.
I made for a list this month.
Trump, Bill Gates, or Bruce Wayne. Don't show your money like I'm Donald Trump. Up like Donald Trump. Up, they swing like no Trump.
Fuck worse than Donald Trump. Election.
Sure she did. But listen, Abby, elections are about policies, and identity politics is always playing a role for some reason. People think that because you're black, you're supposed to vote Democrat. Because you're a woman, you're supposed to vote for a woman. It's about policies. And I think Michelle Obama has insulted over 40% of the women who did vote for President Trump. I find her comments were very condescending. Americans, women, men, we are concerned about the forgotten men and women. We want lower taxes. We want good national security, immigration reform. Those are the issues that Americans voted for in favor of President Trump. Issues that
African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those...
And I'm a lifelong Democrat, too. You may be wondering, why is a lifelong Democrat speaking at the Republican National Convention? And that's a fair question. And here's your answer. The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds. And I'm part of a large and growing segment of the black community who are independent thinkers, and we believe that Donald Trump is the president that America needs to lead us forward. This is no time for sleeping in the basement. Joe Biden has had 47 years to produce results, but he's been all talk and no action, just like so many of the Democrats who've been making promises to the black voters for decades. We've been their captive audience. When President Trump sought to earn the black vote, the Democratic Party leaders went crazy. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer literally started wearing kente cloths around the U.S. Capitol. Now, you know, when I made the public announcement of my support for President Trump, all hell broke loose. I was threatened, called an embarrassment, and asked to resign by my own party. Unfortunately, that's consistent with the Democratic Party and how they view independent thinking black men and women. But I'm here to tell you that black voices are becoming more woke and louder than ever. The Democratic Party has become infected with a pandemic of intolerance, bigotry, socialism, anti-law enforcement bias, and a dangerous tolerance for people who attack others, destroy their property, and terrorize our own communities. Black scholars in math and science and religion, engineering, and politics. They have been important springboards for the black success. But Democrats haven't treated them that way. When President Trump took office, he changed everything. He delivered historic funding to HBCUs, and he guaranteed it for 10 years, something that's never happened in the history of this country. That gave our HBCUs stability, the chance to grow, and produce the next generation of black leaders. That's right, Donald Trump did that. He put opportunity zones in the Trump tax bill that would drive investment into our communities for decades to come. He put the interests of American workers, and especially black workers, first. That's right, Donald Trump did that. He delivered historic criminal justice reform. He ended once and for all the policy of incarceration of black people, which has decimated our communities, caused by no other than Joe Biden. Democrats wouldn't do it. Obama didn't want to do it. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris definitely wouldn't do it. But Donald Trump did it. He's also working every day to make our communities safer. As a former executive of DeKalb County, Georgia, I directed one of the largest public safety departments in the Southeast.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Scott Turner, and I serve as the Executive Director for the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rob Smith. I'm America's favorite black gay Republican. I had my second coming out a couple of years ago in support of this administration and all the amazing things that are happening. Mr. President, I'd like to thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Rollins, I have the amazing honor and blessing of serving as president now for 2 years and focusing on forgotten communities and communities that have never had a shot at the American dream until this man was elected president of the United States. So it continues to be my greatest honor. Thank you. These are amazing things here.
Dee Morelli, I'm with Black Voices for Trump and Women for Trump, and I just want to say I've taken a lot of arrows for you, but I am proud to do it because I appreciate everything you've done for the country.
I believe I saw it was taking place in our country called Why I Couldn't Stay Silent, and I just continue to be impressed and honored at how much you have stood up to your word, how much you've done for all Americans, and how that's risen the black community as well, how you champion the lives of unborn babies, and it is a privilege and an honor. David J. Harris Jr., by the way, I think I forgot to say that, but it's a privilege to be in airports and wear my I love showing folks that black Trump supporters do exist. And even more than that, it gives me an opportunity. I did just last night in Nashville, the opportunity to speak to black folks and Hispanics, but especially blacks. They look at my hat and say, why do you support this president? And when I rattle off all the things that you've done and why I support you, they say, wow, I didn't know that. Because they're listening to mainstream media. Wow. So that's why I'm also a news source at davidharrisq.com to give people the real news and not the twisted, liberal, left-driven news that is the mainstream media of today. It's an honor to support you 100%.
I actually saw you walking through the airport.
And y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't be afraid to say it.
That's right.
It irks me when you call this man a racist. My skin crawls right now. I'm tired of it. My leg hurts. I gotta
to follow me away from the liberal ideas that I espoused in my youth. I honestly, I know people are hitting at the mainstream media, but I gotta tell you, I thank you all for waking me up, for calling everything racist to the point that it made no sense, and I had to start digging, because every single thing the man said couldn't have possibly been racist if he had been loved and celebrated for decades. So it is thanks to the lies, it is thanks to the left constantly overplaying their hand, that so many Black Americans are waking up today. There's a fatigue setting in. We're genuinely just tired of being told that everything is racist and everything around us is white nationalism and white supremacy. You may have seen me testifying in Congress against the absurd hearing of Democrats pretending to care about what's hurting Black America at the same time that they murder millions of our babies, at the same time that they remove fathers from the home systematically via their welfare policies that they established, at the same time that they incarcerated our men for decades. So what I say to you all is thank you, keep going, and we will meet you at the finish line when we crack the black vote.
And Mr. President, there are those that write history. There's those that read history. And I want you to know that you are making history. I need you to understand that we're not new to this, we're true to this.
Come on now.
From day one.
Day one.
We have been on your side and we've never left it. You know, I keep hearing the left talking about they a champion for this and a champion for that. But when is a champion going to win? Because they ain't winning.
Right. Come on now.
But we done already found a champion.
Sacrificing. Guys who's losing money.
Right.
He's the only president that comes to the and loses money. Everybody else that serves makes money. He loses money. And everyone knows that all of us who serve at the pleasure of the president lose money. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Don't forget that. There is no pay to play. There is no special interest. There is nothing that he owes anyone. I will run for president, and I will not take special interest money and not be beholden to anyone except God.
I ran the NFL players for about, now I've been a Democrat all my life. You were a Democrat out. And you changed me. You changed me, you touched me, and you made my work go to another level. You inspire me. And every time I go into those prisons and I ask my guys, you know, how many of you have had your sentence reduced, and they raise their hand, I know I'm doing good.
Enough. Mr. President, I have one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have...
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation? Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I think that's unfair.
You're a very rude person. The way you treat Sarah Huckabee is horrible. And the way you treat other people are horrible. You shouldn't treat people that way. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his butt.
Well, I'm not a big fan of yours either, so
I understand.
To be honest.
So let me ask you a question, if I can. You repeatedly said...
You aren't the best.
Mr. President, you repeatedly, over the course of the...
just sit down, please. Well, when you report fake news, when you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Mr. President, over the course of the last several days of the campaign, sir, at the end of the campaign, you repeatedly said...
Now I say they're babies.
Who's
they're
the
babies.
toughest?
The political people. This is the most deceptive, vicious world. It is vicious. It's full of lies, deceit, and deception. You make a deal with somebody, and it's like making a deal with that table.
Give me an example.
Well, I don't want to give you an example. I'm not looking at... In the meantime, nobody's been able to do what I've been able to do. Remember that. When you look at taxes, you look at regulations, you look at making deals with other countries, nobody's been able to do anything like this. Actually, most people didn't even try because they knew they didn't have the ability to do it. But it's a very deceptive world. The other thing I've really learned is I never knew how dishonest the media was. I really mean it. I'm not saying that as a soundbite. I never knew how dishonest.
I'm gonna change the subject again.
Well, no, but even the way you asked me a question like about separation. When I say Obama did it, you don't want to talk about it.
No,
When I say I did it, let's make a big
I'm
deal.
gonna write an answer, but you did it 4 times.
I'm
so.
just telling you that you treated me much differently on the subject.
I disagree, but I don't want to have that fight with you.
Hey,
All
it's
right,
okay.
We're having another fight with you.
Leslie, it's okay. In the meantime, I'm president and you're not. John Roberts, go ahead, John. No. John Roberts, go ahead. CNN's fake news. I don't take questions. I don't take questions from CNN. CNN is fake news. I don't take questions from CNN. John Roberts of Fox. Let's go to a real.
One for him. I just wanted to follow up on the one that I asked you, which
Did
was,
you hear
what
me?
did you want?
Did you hear me?
Yes,
Ask him a question.
I will, but
I'm giving you a long answer. Ask this gentleman a question. Don't be rude.
no, sir, I don't want to be rude. I just wanted you to have a chance to answer the question that I asked
I've
you.
answered everything. It's a whole hoax. And you know who's playing into the hoax? People like you and the fake news media that we have in this country.
There you go.
And I say in many cases, the corrupt media, because you're corrupt. Much of the media in this country is not just fake, it's corrupt. And you have some very fine people, too. Great journalists, great reporters. But to a large extent, it's corrupt and it's fake. Ask the president of Finland a question, please.
Okay, I'll move on.
I went to a hospital in Brooklyn. A woman was raped, mugged, and thrown off a 4-story building, okay? And a reporter asked me whether or not I had any compassion or feeling for the people that did it. Do I have hatred for them? And I said, look, this woman was raped, mugged, and thrown off a building. Thrown off a building on top of everything else. She's virtually, she's got some major problems, to put it mildly. I said, of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done. I mean, it's incredible when a reporter asks me whether or not I have compassion for the people that did this crime. I have absolutely no compassion.
Obviously. How about if it were asked this way? We don't know who did that crime, and a court's going to decide who did that crime. Were you prejudging those arrested?
No, I'm not prejudging at all. I'm not in this particular case. I'm saying if they're found guilty, if the woman died, which she hopefully will not be dying, but if the woman died, I think they should be executed. I think you should have the death penalty. I think most people agree with me on that.
Was the ad careful to say if? Because they could have been a bystander,
Well,
could have been someone wrongfully arrested.
So, did you catch that? What she says is you start out with something that's a lie, and you throw it out there, and then the press picks up on it, and they write stories about it, and you say, see, it's written in the press, so it must be true. This is exactly what they did with Trump.
Call the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Because they have no sources, they just make them up when there are none.
We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it.
The President of the United States is racist.
The President of the United States is a weak man.
He's a racist. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a bully and he's a bitch.
He's unfit to be human.
Lisa! Lisa! Oh, God, I love you, Lisa. And if she doesn't win, Lisa, we've got an insurance policy, Lisa. We'll get that son of a bitch out. We got an insurance policy. And we're living through the insurance policy. That's what it is.